Hey everybody, welcome back to the 416 Sob series. This is episode number 8. Sorry I didn't release a video yesterday. I got kind of caught up with some real life things, and the release of Fragpunk was out yesterday, and me and my brother, we were spending a lot of time doing playing that really. I got a pretty cool clip, literally the first bullet I ever played the game. It was pretty sick. You can go see it in my shorts right now. Absolutely insane. There'll never be dopamine quite like that ever again in my entire life. Um, but I did record this tab yesterday, so I'm not 100% sure of everything that kind of goes on in here. So as we go on, it'll kind of be more of a surprise to both of us. Still no purple. I know, spoiler alert, but I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. But you know, that day that we get that purple on video, it's gonna be a special day. I'm telling you. Um, but just right off the bat here, it's kind of been going pretty solid so far. Spent a lot of time trying to get my switches in order at the very beginning, but overall, pretty decent Nilo spawns. The freezing went pretty well. I don't think I stepped on a whole lot of blood here except for right there, where I kind of unfortunately clicked to attack and she threw it at the same time, and it took me 2 ticks to realize that I was going to land on the blood. I should have been north here so in trios, you always kind of want both non-freezers to be north 1-2s to turbo them down. And really all that means is that you're killing the Nilos before they reach the maiden as much as you can, so they heal less, because the less they heal, the less bonus damage that she'll gain from the Nilos reaching her. Because every time you step on blood, or every time she absorbs the blood Nilos, then she will gain more damage, and she will heal a percentage of her health based on how much health the Nilos had left. But overall, clean, no deaths. We did have to swap tank there. Usually the person that freezes tanks, but I noticed that he kind of went off to the side there to try to avoid some damage, so I stepped up and started tanking the last couple hits there. Just to it did cost me my hard food, but I don't think that actually ends up being a problem this raid, because I end up having an excess of points as is. So as long as I manage to kind of rein in my gameplay a little bit, the actual like hard food I take in isn't 100% necessary, but it is for emergencies, so I don't have to spend points on the hard food. He goes for the BGS here. He actually hits it. That's huge, because BGS is on bloat, like reduced kill times by a lot. Chances are we could get a 2 down here because of the BGS, but I don't think we do, just because we hit really bad, really unluckily. I actually click away, and then I don't get my 3 hits. I only get 2 in a Chally, I remember. It's really important that you kind of gauge the situation well. I should have known that he was going to go down there, because he had already been up for a really long time. But like I explained in an earlier video, when people take the flies, bloat stays up longer. The timer diminishing returns, like he can't stay up forever, but it has diminishing returns on it. But if you take flies, he will stay up longer. So in my mind, I saw that a bunch of people were taking flies, and I was like, so I immediately clicked away, assuming that he might come full around the corner in attempts to try to minimize the damage I had already taken from bloat at the time. It's really important that you're always kind of keeping in mind the risk versus the reward of the situation. Like, the risk was really high that he kept going and dealing damage to me and potentially killing me and multiple other people, whereas like the other 2 guys, they saw the opportunity that chances are he might go down soon and just get as much damage in. I accidentally fly them here because he turns around like the same tick that I click onto the circle to go around the corner. It's kind of unlucky, but I mean, that just kind of happens. That blood deaths, hashtag blood deaths aren't real. But yeah, clean, no one died, you know. I do remember buying 2 hard food here, and just making sure that I could survive through the Nilo's room here. I'm not sure. I think the reason normally I would just risk it with the bruise, right? But it's really important. Sorry, I keep saying that. Why do I keep saying it's really important? In my mind, I'm sorry for saying it so much. That had to have been annoying. But in my mind, I was like, well, we've kind of taken a lot of damage on Maiden. We've kind of taken a lot of damage on Bloat. So chances are Nilo's are also going to be a high damage room. Right off the bat here, some of the first Nilo kind of giving me a little bit trouble with some unlucky hits kind of spells out to me that my fears may have been not unfounded. So here I was thinking about switching and helping, and I kind of got locked up in the idea. Like I kind of got decision paralysis. I just was so like locked into this idea that I wanted to switch to help out, but it was still early waves, so I wanted to make sure that I could keep the waves clear as much as possible, because helping out is fine if you're on top of your switches, right? And you have no other Nilos in the room, but more important than that, having every Nilo in the room dead as soon as possible helps you maintain the waves later, because what ends up causing you to fall behind in Nilo rooms is just bad tick management. It's like most of the time, yes, RNG does play a big factor in it. You can absolutely get shafted by just really unlucky hits, really bad management, and being unable to I can't think of the word, but it's important that also good play is understanding that helping is important, but also making sure you're taking care of your own role is just as important, right? So here I am kind of struggling a little bit. I don't know why. I remember having the shakes. I think it was because of the decision paralysis earlier kind of shook me up a little bit. I was like, and so I'm pretty rigid in my clicks right now. You can tell like how slow I am to articulate my next target versus some previous runs you may have seen. But I'm still doing a fairly good job of keeping it locked down. I don't see a whole lot of like ranged Nilos in the room right now, and I think even in the match I recognized that right here. I was like, I'm going to go help, and then immediately I saw about 3 or 4 different Nilos switch to range, and I managed to make that mental adjustment really quick to not go help out the other roles and just take care of my role at the moment, because we're starting to get into the kind of the more hectic waves here. The Nilos are really kind of piling on, but honestly, the freeze roll is doing a pretty good job keeping them locked up here from what I can tell, because all of them are pretty relatively the same health. That's a good sign that not any one pillar is being overmanaged, because that's kind of another kind of thing I don't think I've talked about a lot is pillar management is also a skill to have in Nilos, where you're making sure that you're kind of giving attention to pillars that have lesser health than other pillars, because you unintentionally and unknowingly have kind of like pillar bias, where your brain kind of like gets that proximity blindness to where you're focused at, and the only thing you see are the Nilos that you're clicking versus the Nilos that need to die, right? And if you completely ignore all of the Nilos on another pillar for in the sake of by the way, that was a bad flick. You can tell I'm like really rigid right now. If you kind of ignore a pillar in the name of just trying to kill the Nilos that your mouse is near and that you're currently like focused on, you'll end up finding that a lot of the times you'll end up losing a pillar because you're so locked in on this area that you're focused on. So you might also see me like leave a lot of pillars with Nilos still alive a lot of times to go one step across the room to attack a different Nilo, but that's in the sake of trying to kind of maintain that balance of the pillar health. As far as like the actual boss fight goes, this is probably one of my more rougher fights. Like all my clicks are really shaky and rigid. I'm not really locked in. I've guessed wrong. I think I actually guessed wrong every single time in this fight, which is kind of unfortunate. But at the same time, like half of the guesses that I didn't make were also ones that I didn't get any switches off to actually make the guess. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't and mentally kind of see the situation going on at hand, and I was locked into trying to maintain focus, is I guess the best way to say it. I wasn't doing my switches properly, and I wasn't counting my attacks properly because of that shakiness. But we still live, so I mean that's the most important part. Didn't drink any brews actually, so I mean we didn't lose too much. We did drink, I think, a whole restore there, but I mean that's kind of to be expected with a little bit of bad play. Soda Seg, I think, does have a couple moments. Oh yeah, here I'm telling them like exactly kind of how I was feeling. I was like, it was pretty cringe. It didn't feel right. I was guessing everything wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's just, yeah. Even that guy kind of felt that too. It might have just been a room thing. Like it was just kind of going that shaky. Hammer here, so we're going to actually kind of turbo him down a little bit. If I remember right, I miss a lot of flicks at this rate just because I was kind of so fucked up from the last boss that I spent so much of my time like tilted, I guess is the best way to describe it. So I think I actually ended up drinking a whole brew on this Soda Seg, if I remember right. Yeah, I think so. Just because like the flicks went so bad, and I think the mazing even went a little bit bad as well. I think I think I do step off the path here a couple times in this. And this isn't the only raid I did yesterday on 416. This is just the last raid I did on 416, and the reason why I'm only showing one of a few is not to be like this is the best one, but this is just the first one I clicked inside of the video recording file, and it's also the freshest one in my mind, so I kind of have some semblance of what actually happened and kind of the feelings that I felt during the raid. I go for the Tiki here. Solid Tiki. I actually remember thinking I felt like I clicked that way too early and it still worked. I don't know why. Like I mean, I felt like I like really clicked it too early, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I survived that actually. So pretty lucky there. Honestly, I want to say I think I got pretty lucky there. Here I go with my mazing. I do believe I actually fucked my maze up kind of bad, or it was just like I was being maybe a little bit too precautious in my maze. Yeah, kind of walking all of the diagonals, not really like skipping tiles or anything, and that's okay, right? It's okay to do that kind of safe maze if you're not feeling confident in your ability at the moment. Ooh, I actually drink more than a brew. I drink a brew and a dose there. I think, is that the most that I drink here? No, that's crazy. That's crazy. So just kind of goes to show just kind of where I'm at as far as like the tilt factor. One thing I don't do, and I should probably do when I go for these kind of low health situations. By the way, I see this guy Chally, and I immediately go, yeah, I should probably Chally too, because I saw that guy call 1, so I was like, I can probably just double Chally and it'll probably hit because we got a hammer. But one thing I should start doing that I see other players do that I don't do a lot is stepping back during Soap for melees, because Soap can't melee you if you're not within melee range, so it's never one of the options to have to pray against. So as long as you step back before either the mage or the ranged auto attacks hits, that's one less chance that when you're praying major range that he turns to you and hits you with a melee for his attack, because his attacks kind of like can overlap because of how slow the actual ranged and mage attacks are, and melee attacks will come out instantly versus his usual attack cycle. So he can kind of checkmate you in a way where he puts you in a situation where you can't not take damage, right? If you're standing beside him. So I should probably do more of that, but I think one of the hardest things for me to kind of grasp in the mental stack is like doing those things, paying attention to the balls, like who's having an attack bounce off of them, and what attack that is coming at me, as well as stepping back and making sure that I'm getting every tick of attack, because I'm so locked into making sure I'm doing those prayers right that even a lot of times that, like, even locked in, I'm still praying wrong. So maybe once in the future, once I kind of get my prayers for Soteu's more comfortably, where I'm confident that no matter what's happening that I'm going to get those prayers correct and not miss ticks for attacks, I'll probably start doing that. But I don't want to miss attack ticks, because honestly the trade-off for missing attack ticks for safer play is that the kill takes longer kills take more supplies, have more risk inherently involved because you have to take more attacks. So it's kind of a give and take to it as well. I think the Scythe Walk here actually goes pretty well, if I remember right. But I do remember running out of space, because I think we just hit not good enough or something, and I remember having to pull the T-bow out at one point, and that might have been a different rate. We'll find out here. Actually, because I stepped on that tile and then stepped on a different tile, I accidentally end up ragging another tile, and I start thinking about that a little bit too much and get out of sync, and end up having to step away in T-bow here. Yeah. And so I'm kind of crossing, and I'm thinking about putting my switches on here. You kind of see me like hesitate for a sec there, because I was thinking about maybe kind of stepping into this guy's path and also scything, but I decided against it because I didn't want to potentially mess up his mojo, because he seems to have the Scythe Walk going pretty well right now. It's weird that it's taken this long to kind of get Xarpus down. I think we just got really unlucky on our hits right there for a little bit. That was kind of strange. I accidentally clicked there, and I immediately was when I wanted to move, and I kind of panicked a little bit, because I was like, oh no, dude, if I don't move, I'm gonna end up actually scything Xarpus here and dying. But thankfully, I kind of get the clicks locked in a little bit and don't actually end up hitting him. One of the things that my mind is looking at a lot right now is those two tiles ragged over there on the right, on the west side of the room, because I'm thinking about how realistic it is to path around those and path around the left side here to get to the front. So I just end up to reduce the mental stack on what I'm doing, so I don't accidentally scythe Xarpus when he's looking at me, is I just kind of stick to two tiles there. So sometimes it's also better to reduce your mental stack by simplifying the problem, so you have less of a chance to make a mistake. Yes, the trade-off is that the kill will potentially take longer, but you're also going to be allowed to tell the tale, right? I think I remember for Verzik P1, one of the things I remember is the staff handoffs, I believe, were kind of sketch. I remember I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think I ended up taking a pretty significant damage here and then panicking. Yeah, because he leaves the staff, and then I'm like, oh no, does he not know? And so I'm just sitting here wondering what the cycles are kind of looking like now, and I'm kind of running through my head exactly where I want to kind of grab the scythe here so it doesn't get stuck behind the pillar, right? And I get stuck behind the pillar with it. And I remember panicking a little bit, and I think I end up taking yeah, this is it right here. So I see him leave the thing behind the pillar. I go back for my extra hit, and I grab it in hopes that that the pillar doesn't crush me. I get pretty lucky there, actually. And I stay out I accidentally drop the staff outside of the pillar, yeah. I take a 62 and I was like, fuck. and then nobody grabs the staff on the way out, and I was like, fuck. So like I click her thinking, hoping that somebody else grabs the staff, but nobody else grabs the staff, so I grab the staff, and I'm like, fuck. And then I was like, if I could just get the special attack off, she's dead. And then I didn't get the special attack off, and I took another attack, and then I was like, fuck, she's still alive after the special attack. And so I dropped the staff, and I'm a tick too far behind, and it was just like cascading problems, right? Like, and it kind of just fucked me up really hard, and I ended up eating a whole lot of brews for P1, which is never a good thing. P1 should pretty much always be supplyless besides prayer, and like having to go through that many supplies for P1 spells kind of doom for the rest of the raid if like I do consistent mistakes from here on out. By the way, if you can hear my dogs barking in the background, I do apologize. But yeah, I remember now my mental's pretty gone. I remember after getting the bump there, I was like, if I get bumped one more time, this might actually be over, just because like it's going to be pretty rough for me to recover supply wise. So here I go, like actually doing the scythe walk though. Like I remember being pretty tilted, but I'm kind of locked in for the scythe walk a little bit. But that might just be like the side effect of by the way, I switch here trying to because so the first time that the purple Nyla came out, the guy on the left actually had to come all the way around to kill it, and I was like, so does Torva guy not have a way to kill the purple Nyla? And if that's the case, I was like, I need to kill the purple Nyla. So I switched there, and then I think he actually had a way to kill the purple Nyla, and I was confused. I was like, what's going on? Here I stayed too long for one of the red Nylos, and actually ended up missing, I think, about 2 attacks on Verzik total. And it was just kind of like, it spelled bad news overall. But thankfully I kind of like realized my mistake there. Come in, get a pretty big hit right off the bat, see that it's half health, and immediately move across. Good actualization of the damage. Man, I managed to get that hit in. That was actually pretty smooth to realize that I was on the far end of the beginning of her attack cycle, to be able to slide in, get a hit, and be able to escape in time. That's it's not easy to do. I saw that I got a pretty small hit here. I saw that he kind of got a medium hit again, half life, and I'm gone. Pretty solid play. Immediately into cycle here. What happened was I looked at the Torva guy on the right, saw him go for the hit, and I clicked. And I just kind of like trusting his intuition, and it paid off in being able to just immediately get into cycle. So I hit this Nyla, and I was like, why did I hit the Nyla? Just pick up the bruise. We're out of this phase. It's over. The webs here go very strangely as well. I remember drinking these restores, and I was contemplating brewing up, but I was already at 97. I was like, the supplies are already kind of like running a little bit short. I better not waste any potential brews for like towards the end of the fight here. So I ended up deciding against it, but in hindsight, I probably should have done it. Sorry, I was muted. I have some real life stuff I had to take care of relatively soon. I had to pause the recording, so I'm just gonna finish this out very quickly, and then I have to get out of here. So we're just gonna kind of skip. I don't want to say skip through, but I think we're gonna try to speed up the settings here. I might not be able to do that, but just to kind of like clip through real quick. I'm sorry that this is kind of like a little bit of bad mannerism for a video, but unfortunately I'm not going to be able to make a video today. That's why I'm kind of trying to get it out right now. And I didn't want to miss a video like I did yesterday because of just kind of, let's be honest, probably generalized laziness and unwillingness to actually kind of to do the things that I needed to do. But I didn't die. We actually finished right here. Just like a couple seconds after that skip that that I did there. Unfortunately, no purple, no MVP. Just to show you guys the loot here. Oh, went a little bit too far. Sweet. But yeah, that's kind of it, guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm sorry that I kind of have to cut this a little bit short here, but expect probably a better quality video tomorrow. I'm thinking of, I think I've got an idea of maybe speeding up the actual playback footage by about 30%, because if my math is right, 30% will cut about 6 minutes off of the overall runtime of the actual clip. It might look a little weird, but it'll get the video out faster. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.